Hey guys, Board now back with you for the latest review of Devs, the new FX/Hulu series from Alex Garland, and this is going to be episode 3. So I'm sort of doing 2 of these a week. It's the 8 episode miniseries and full spoilers from the start. So this was another good episode, I thought. Again, plenty of style. It does some really good sort of world building and gets more into like some of the themes and ideas. Not a lot happens plot wise, although there is quite a big like development on Lily's side of the plot, which I'll talk about, but it sort of opens with all these different simulations. So we see the simulation again of Forrest's daughter, like in the bedroom, and we get different ones from history, including we appear to get one of Lily, and it's the one from the last episode where she puts, like the fuck you message outside of her window as a response to the Russian guy. And I'm enjoying the sort of quirky like banter back and forth between like these two tech guys who we've seen working in the devs, so Stuart and the younger guys. And we see them because the Alison Pill character walks in and they're basically watching a simulation of Arthur Miller and Marilyn Monroe having sex, which is both really creepy but also kind of darkly funny. And it really hits home, I think, part of the point of this series, like the way it's unpacking the endless possibilities of like AI and simulation, but just how moving forward it really is becoming quite disturbing and sort of creepy. But there's something about that, the fact that they can go into the past so far back and capture a moment like that, which it's an invasion of privacy, obviously, even though both people are now dead. But so there's something quite amazing about the achievement of it, but it still doesn't make it any less sort of creepy and like just murky. So the Alison Pill character walks in on it, and when they told her what it is, she like admonishes them about it and says, we've got a rule about privacy, about not invading privacy. And what I like about this is, again, it sets up this idea that although Devs is a very like sinister sort of project, and the way they go about business, like the way they obviously disposed of Sergei because he was a threat to them, that's obviously very, very dodgy and underhanded. But at the same time, there is still this idea of being good, of being clean, of doing things the right way. So I think that's what makes like the characters at Devs who are kind of antagonists still very interesting, still very. They at least have this ideal of like having rules and structure, so it's almost like not anything goes sort of thing, which makes them interesting, I think, as like sort of villainous sort of characters. But there's a great joke in this scene actually, because I'll have to look at a name. I can't remember the Alison Pill character's name, but she she kind of makes a comment about, so it would be alright, Stuart, if we, filmed you, had a simulation of you having sex. And the other guy, the younger guy, says, I think not even we could go that far back in history to find that, which is pretty funny. I'm quite enjoying like the back and forth between these two characters. But yeah, that was a good scene, the way it's set up, this idea of them having rules about these sorts of things. And another big thing that happens in the episode is Forrest gets a visitor from the government, gets like a senator comes to visit him. And again, it demonstrates that then Devs is like this very hidden sort of project. The government basically don't know anything about it. And that's why the senator is there, to try and find out more. And she does this really interesting speech, actually, about how at this point the public as a whole don't trust tech companies. She goes through different things, like she says, Instagram makes people miserable. And there was another example. I can't remember what it was actually, but it's that funny sort of ironic thing where, in some ways, we don't necessarily love social media or like these sort of advanced tech hats. It's just that we become addicted to them, and that's an interesting concept because it's sort of true. It's sort of like I spend a lot of my day on YouTube, and I really enjoy watching stuff on there, and because there's just like so much like endless content and a lot of stuff which I wouldn't see otherwise. But at the same time, yeah, whether I would actually say I love YouTube, it's just then it becomes sort of almost a necessary or just something that becomes like a big part of my life in a funny sort of way. So I think, yeah, that character really taps into something there. And Forrest has his guard up, he's very protective. And again, he's promoting this idea of we're a secret society, that this is private. And he puts this defense up where he kind of says the government, the only reason they want to know more is so that they can control it. Which again, I think he's probably hit on something there. I think that probably is why they want to know more. But she's putting on this side where we if we're going to fund you, we need to know more. And I think she's also trying to make the point that for the public to trust you, we have to have information to give to the public. But he does basically tell her what they're doing at Devs and gives her like the tour of the grounds. And this intercepts with the Lily plot in this episode because she goes back to work and she starts talking to, like, I'm not sure if it's supervisor, but one of her work colleagues anyway, about her suspicions. And she comes out and says then she thinks that either Sergei isn't really dead, or then he was murdered rather than committed suicide. And she tells her about the Russian guy and what he said. And again, I mean, I think this is what's interesting here, because I wasn't really sure if Lily really thought this, because she says at one point then she thought it was like the Russians who took him out. So it's kind of funny that, because you would have thought the first people she would suspect as killing him would be the people at Devs, but I don't know if she's just playing that angle up because she doesn't want. She thinks that might be too suspicious. Telling someone who actually works at the tech company this idea, but she basically gives the theory, and then one of Lily's like workmates, who she's also friends with, Jennifer, starts supporting Lily and says, just being really supportive. And so the other woman takes her and says, what are you doing? Why are you getting her head filled with this stuff? Because she, as you would, I guess, clearly thinks that Lily's kind of out of her mind, and it's just the stress is getting to her. And Jennifer then says, I know Lily has history with this stuff. She has history of schizophrenia, apparently, is what she believes. And so I think we need to get her on side and to get her into the system. So they come up with this plan to try and get Lily like institutionalized. So Jennifer, on the surface of it, is supporting Lily, and so they come up with this plan together, that being Jennifer and Lily, and it's to get like the pen drive, the hard drive from the security system. So they go to see Kenton or Caton. It's either Kenton or Caton. And Lily tells him her theory. And see, this is the worst scene of the episode, even though what it leads to is pretty good, and it adds to the drama. But again, unfortunately, the actress playing Lily is really bad. So there's this scene where, because Kenton doesn't seem to be believing her, she just freaks out, because Jennifer, as part of the act, sort of plays that up as well, and then she's kind of questioning her. So Lily basically has this panic attack and starts screaming and goes outside. But again, because the actress isn't very good, this scene is kind of grating. It's like over the top and not very convincing. But I like what it leads to, because it's actually part of their plan. Because Lily then goes outside onto a ledge, and this is where the two sides of the plot lie overlap, because Forrest is still going around with like the politicians, and so they see Lily on the ledge, and they're like, well, this is going to be bad publicity, especially if she jumps. So Forrest calls Kate and gets him to like talk her down. And as Caton is out on the ledge, Jennifer is still obviously in the office, and she gets the security footage off the pen drive. So even though the scene with Lily's breakdown was really grating, I did actually enjoy what they did with it and the scheme. And Caton, supposedly wins her trust. He says, yeah, there might be something to this. But that's the scheme, basically. And I think they're under the impression that Lily is going to be institutionalized the next day or something. I think Jennifer gives them that impression. But they go back in the car and they're like celebrating, oh, I can't believe we did that. And I have to say, the line, because the actress isn't very good, I thought the line from Jennifer that was Oscar worthy is sort of ironic, really, because clearly it wasn't, but whatever. So Lily takes the footage to Jamie, her ex-boyfriend, and he actually has this line: "Is well, you want to watch this footage with me of the guy you dumped me for." Um, and yeah, that's kind of morbid or something. I can't remember exactly what he says, but anyway, they watch it because they want to see if there's anything wrong, and Jamie picks out then the flames are false. They're not real, and he can tell this because they all look the same. Like, I guess there's no difference in the height of different flames, or yeah, they just look all the same, which seems to be a clear sign then they're a simulation, they're made up. And Lily says, well, I saw the body, so I know that's real. And so they come to the conclusion the body's real, but the flames were set up, they're simulations. So that means they must have killed him. And that's where the episode ends, and we kind of seen, like, just for our purposes, we see this like sort of setup of how they did it, sort of thing, how they set up the body. So they have it. That's the end of the episode. Again, pretty impressive stuff. That's episode 3 of Devs. Let me know your thoughts on it if you've been watching along. It's sort of bubbling along quite nicely. I still have my concerns over the actress playing Lily and her character, but so far so good anyway. And I'll be back with episode 4 soon. But like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And again, comment on the video if you've seen this episode, if you're watching the series. But I'll see you guys again soon. Goodbye.